Hello, besties. Oh, gosh, we have a meeting crasher joining us today. Oh my gosh, someone from the department down the hall. Welcome, Max Farbsy. Hello.
Hello. Happy to be here, everyone. Thank you for having me. I know the department down the hall is just down the hall, so I'm happy to be here. Sorry to crash.
I mean, who in corporate wants to attend more meetings? Like, if anything, I'm trying to escape from meetings. And yet here is Max trying to get into extra ones. Like, do you have a bingo card? Are you getting a bonus?
Do you not have a bingo card?
Shit. Okay.
Because if so, you got to get on it. Everyone's doing bingo these days, so.
Love bingo.
Oh, once again, HR's not included.
Of course. But if you do not know who Max Farbsy is, where the hell have you been? Now, I'm going to take just a second to share your bio, Max, because you took the effort to send it to me, okay? But Farbsy is a content creator, musician, and professional overthinker of everything. Shout out to anxiety and ADHD, samesies. Whether he's amplifying the pains of 9-to-5 life, writing songs about the stress and potential bragging rights of parallel parking, or channeling his inner Dr. Doolittle, talking with dogs and cats about their problems, he's always finding new ways to make people laugh. And boy, are you. Oh, at Farbsy, people. Like, follow now, pause, put this on pause, go follow. Max, we just adore your content.
Thank you so much. I adore all of you guys. Like, your content, gives me life. So thank you right back at all of you.
We're like life givers. It's so great. Oh, look at this. It's a love fest. Oh, gosh. But we are so thrilled to have you here with us. So thank you. This is your first time crashing our meeting. So I just want to give a quick agenda. All right. Let me just do a quick rundown of the agenda for everybody. So, we can stay on schedule. Jamie has a hard stop.
Yes. I'm very busy.
She's so busy. Oh my God. But first things first, we always start with some hot goss. Okay. We love that water cooler talk, right? We have to do the bullshit small talk. This is business, people. This is corporate, damn it. So we're going to do some hot goss. And that is brought to us today by you, our meeting crasher.
I know.
Yay.
I know, right?
And now you have also been voluntold to bring the Cringe corporate speak today. So you're responsible for that too. Look at what happens when you're a meeting crasher. You get all the work. And then we pivot to our hot topic of our meeting. And that one today, because of your expertise, is all about the overlap between customer experience and the employee experience. Sexy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. Love. EX and CX. Ow. Love it. And so we'll turn that inside out a little bit. It won't be so heavy. We'll have some fun with it. But you are a service expert. That kind of sounds bad. But we would love to get your insights and, of course, share a few of ours. And then, as always, we end our meetings with some questions and comments. So we may have some questions for you, Max. I don't know.
I'll be ready. I have a question for all of you, so.
Oh, yikes.
So start thinking about it.
Ooh, I hope I have answers. All right. Well, now, Max, over to you. Share that hot goss. What the hell's going on?
Okay. So this is probably one of the most stressful situations I've been in a working environment, because my life is filled with stressful situations outside of work, but this is my go-to, and I don't know if I've ever shared it with any of you, but I'm going to share it now because honestly, at the time when it happened, I was going through it. I was not having a good time. Looking back now, I can relive it very easily.
Do tell.
I used to work for a company that will remain nameless. It was a job that I really did like. I enjoyed some of the people that I worked with. The other ones, were other people who happened to be at that place. Now, for context, when I had my interview to get this job, the people who were hiring me, my boss and my boss's boss, they were the final stage of the interview. They told me, they said, hey, we know about your page and we love it. We think it's a great creative outlet for you. Keep doing your thing. And I said, really? You have no problem? They said, not a problem. We love it. It's so it's authentic. Keep doing your thing. Amazing. I worked at this company for a grand total of, I think, 7 months. And at the midway point of my time there, I got a Slack message from my boss, and it was an Instagram link. Now, there was a big social media presence in the company in regards to like what the job entailed. So I thought that it was work related. So I click on the link, and you can imagine my surprise when it's not something that had to do with the company I worked for, but it was a video of me. It's me. I was like, who's this handsome son of a gun? Oh my God. And then as I started watching it, I was like, wait, something's probably not right here, because I don't think my boss would be like, hey, this video's really funny. How's your day going?
It's a banger.
Right? I've never gotten that. Would never get that from her. And also for context, my boss's name is John. Okay? Very common name. John Doe, John Smith. It's like probably the most basic name I could think of.
Yeah, like my son's name is John.
There you go. No disrespect to your son, but you know. And the video was one that I posted years ago, which is me being like, hey, here's a really easy way to get out of a boring meeting. And I have a voiceover where I go, hey guys, with the fiscal year coming up, it's probably important with Q4, yada, yada. And then I go, hey, John, you know what? I actually don't give a shit, so I'm going to head on out. And that's the video. It is 12 seconds long, I think. And I'm watching it, and I think to myself, this is pretty good video. I struggled with this one. And my boss sends a message afterwards with the link, and she goes, hey, Max, I have some concerns about this video. And I'm like, okay. So let's see where this goes. And she goes, I'm just a little concerned because A, you're using John's name, which, is a bit much, but B, you're referencing the fiscal year, which is something that we talk about in our marketing meetings. So it just feels a little bit on the nose.
Okay.
I kind of froze for a moment because I couldn't tell, honestly, if they were joking. A part of me was like, is this some sort of am I getting punked? Is Ashton Kutcher just going to pop up on the Zoom chat and be like, we're bringing it back and we're punking some random dude from Toronto who works at this. What's going on here? In no point of this message was she saying, you need to take this video down. So I wasn't going to offer because the video was doing very well and I was very proud of it. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to give the diplomatic response. So I send back a message that says, hey, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. In regards to John's name, as I know, you are familiar with my page, so you would know that I use the name John very often. It's a very common name, purely coincidence. It has nothing to do with your boss, my bosses. It has nothing to do with him. Second, in regards to the fiscal year, literally the whole video is just about boring corporate jargon. And the first thing that comes to mind for me, and I'm sure for many others, is fiscal year. Because what even is that? And why is it not the physical year? I called it the physical year for so long, and someone's like, you're saying it wrong. I'm like, don't fucking sass me. I know what I'm saying. So, at the end of the day, it's purely coincidence. However, I want to thank you for bringing this up. And I will be way more cautious moving forward.
Wow, that is corporate.
Which I thought was probably one of the best. Who needs ChatGPT? ChatGPT was not around.
I was about to say.
I've always prided myself on knowing how to handle annoying professional situations. And I was very proud of that message. And my hope was she would be like, thank you so much. Let's get back to work. And she goes, Max, thanks for saying that. But I'm going to need you to take the video down and refilm it using a new name and scenario just out of respect for John.
Wait, what?
Fuck John.
That sounds like a brand agency sponsored video with the refilming.
Yeah.
Right? So my thought process was, okay, I really don't want to do that. But I was talking with my wife, Kelsey, and she said, you know what? I love you, but if you don't take that video down, they will fire you.
Of course.
And they're not going to say it's because of the video, but they will make some sort of reason that sounds legit that isn't, but the real reason will be because of this video that is, really funny, but strikes a chord with them for all the wrong reasons. And I was thinking to myself, why is John not saying something to me? So I kept thinking really two scenarios here. Either A, John has seen the video, but isn't, man enough to just message me and say, hey, is this about me? Which it wasn't. because I had literally no problem with the guy. I still don't. But the other option was he hadn't seen it, and my boss didn't want him to see it because she thought that maybe it would become a problem, or she thought that it would she was essentially trying to put out a fire that hadn't even started burning.
Yeah.
And never would burn, So I ended up taking the video down. I was pretty upset because I felt really good about it, and I don't like taking down content that people relate to, regardless of if someone feels called out or not. Like, who gives a shit, And my boss was like, she goes, I know that your page is your own page, but as long as you're working for this company, you represent this company. Which was funny because no one ever fucking knew that I worked there because I never told a gosh darn soul.
I'm still working corporate and I run into this issue. Like, I don't even have my current company on my LinkedIn. Like, I go through great lengths to protect the company.
Yeah. And I knew from that moment on, I could not trust anybody that I worked with at that company. And I knew that they were going to try to find a way to get rid of me.
And did they?
I got very lucky because I ended up finding a different job. And right as I found the other job, the company got bought out by essentially their competitor.
Oh.
And everyone said, oh, are there going to be layoffs? And they said, no major changes. And then like a month after they got bought, I see all these people on LinkedIn who I know from working there, like, oh, I'm so excited to announce my new position with a totally different company.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're like, I've been laid off, but you know what? What we lose in one job, we find in another. And I'm so excited to announce that I've been promoted. It's all this, LinkedIn corporate jingle jangle.
Yeah.
It was wild because it was just so weird to kind of like be targeted in a way, which like feels a bit dramatic to say, but I had a meeting with John. This is a couple weeks after that initial fiasco. And he goes, hey, he's like, do you have time to chat? Which I hate. He's like, oh, you free? You free to hop on a quick call? I'm like, sure, John. Like, is he going to fire me? Like, I don't know. So we're chatting and he goes, Max, he's like, the reason I want to talk to you today is about your channel. And I'm like, great, John, what the fuck did I do now? Like, did I use your name again? Like, are you embarrassed? Like, what's going on? And he goes, I'm just concerned about some other employees here. And I'm like, how so? He goes, I don't think that everyone understands it's a comedy page.
Oh my God.
Well, then you've hired a bunch of idiots, John.
Exactly.
I mean, what the fuck? Welcome to social.
Literally. And I just kind of like look around and I go, John, how's that my problem? Like I have that has nothing to do with me. That's clearly something that they need to figure out. And he goes, well, he's like, I just think it's a little bit too relatable. I was like, John, if you want to give me a compliment, by all means, like just say you like what I do on this page. It's not a problem. And I told him, listen, if anybody has a problem, I'm more than happy to chat with them and like let them know that this is purely a comedic page. It's not inspired by anyone or anything. It's just relatable workplace humor. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. And if anybody is looking deeper into that, that is on them.
They're like, but could you add a label? Could you add comedy page, not satire, not representative of our company, but don't name the company? Could you just add that to the top of your page? Like, yeah, sure.
The legal disclaimer.
Here's my thought process on that. If people have that in their bio, I think they still work in some sort of 9-to-5 corporate job. So they just are covering their bases, which is fine. But I also, for me, I never did anything like that because I trust people to know that at the end of the day, it's probably just comedy. Although a lot of people do email me asking if I'm hiring because I am the CEO of customer service. I get resumes, I get LinkedIn pages.
That is so funny.
Yeah, I think about that job and I think about that specific day when I got that Instagram link and I opened it up and saw my face. I think about that very often.
Cringe.
I have a quick question. Have you now since refilmed the fiscal year, John? Because I think you have to.
So I did, and I basically kept it as similar as I could. I think I ended up using Jim instead of John, and I used, I'm trying to think, I can't even remember what I used instead of the fiscal year. I probably said the physical year.
Caesarian, the Caesar calendar, the Caesar's calendar.
Exactly, and the video crushed.
Of course it did.
It crushed. So it was kind of like poetic justice where I was like, I should believe in myself more often, but also fuck you guys.
Like, in what reality is fiscal year proprietary?
I know.
I mean,
it made me think, like, does she think that we're the only company that that has a fiscal year? Because for the sake of every other company ever,
Yeah.
you know?
oh my gosh.
It honestly shows the level of so much fear at work. And especially she's the one bringing it up. She's so afraid of getting on it from her boss. And when people do that, they do crazy shit.
Yep.
That doesn't make sense to the third party that's looking at it. But there you go. Tale as old as time.
Oh my gosh. Good times in corporate.
Right? Pinky's out. Cheers to that.
Oh my gosh.
Are you like me? You put everything for everyone else first and you become your own last priority? And when was the last time you needed to go to the doctor, but you pushed it off? You made the excuse of, I'm too busy, or it'll just go away, or I don't know which doctor to even go to. I think we've all been there, and booking a doctor's appointment can just feel so daunting. Maybe that's the elder millennial in me. But thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason to delay. They make it easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to settle anymore when it comes to finding the right doctor. With ZocDoc, you've got options. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors and click instantly to book an appointment, all online. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. You can filter doctors who take your insurance, who are located maybe nearby your home or even your work, who are a good fit for you or any medical needs you have, and also highly rated by verified patients. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click instantly to book a visit. Appointments through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours within booking. You can even score same-day appointments. I'm so glad I found out about ZocDoc. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/HRBesties to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc. ZocDoc.com/HRBesties, ZocDoc.com/HRBesties.
I'm no tech genius, but I know if I want my business to crush it, I need a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost makes it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. Within minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. Plus, Bluehost keeps me protected 24/7. No more worrying about hackers. I just relax and focus on my customers. So whatever your hustle may be, secure your online presence in 2025 with Bluehost. Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Well, appreciate that hot goss, Max. Shall we shift gears to cringe corporate speak? What do you got for us?
Okay, this word, anytime I hear it, I feel like the Canadian in me, and I'll explain, thinks about hockey when I hear this word, because I'm pretty sure it's a brand of hockey sticks that is this word. And that word is synergy.
Oh.
Synergy. When they're like, oh, like, we have great synergy here. You know, we have a really tight synergy. Just say you work well together. Just say you have a good working environment. Like, I would almost prefer someone say, let's circle back, which is like the most basic common one. But hearing synergy, and especially hearing it being said seriously, is like who are you trying to impress? Like, you didn't win a Pulitzer Prize or anything like that. You're not, like, it's not fancy. You know, you don't have to be saying this word. Just say, like, oh, like, everyone communicates really well here. We have a great rapport. I do enjoy the word rapport. Rapport is a much better word. You know, synergy to me is just literally, like I said, it's like seeing a Cybertruck. You know, you just kind of see it. You're like,
ooh, yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, can you buy those things? Can you say that? Like, what?
Here's the ick.
So synergy is the one that just, as they say these days, it grinds my gears.
Oh, it's like trying too hard.
Basically.
Right? I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
If it's used sarcastically, then that's fine. But when it's used in a serious...
Rarely is. Rarely.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a bad word because, like, for example, when a company's like, we're not going to do layoffs, they didn't have layoffs, they had synergies. And that is a word that organizations will use, especially if they're acquiring another company.
Really?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I've never heard that before. Yeah.
I've never heard that. That's awful.
Yes, those that there, I guarantee you there will be people in the podcast and they'll say it. There are going to be synergies. And what you mean by that is, of course, if one company acquires the other, there's going to be duplicative systems. Like the idea is to like make things run better. Rarely does that happen as people think it might be, and as it looks in a PowerPoint deck that gets approval. But people will also say, there's going to be synergies, which means layoffs as well. That is a code word to be very spidey sense for.
This is news to me. I did not realize it was used in that context. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It is.
I need to change. Oh, God.
I know, right? I need a shower. Oh, man.
I hate it even more now.
Oh, but I love it when I hear synergistic, or we're going to start working synergistically. Oh, my God.
Wait, what does that even...
I know. It's like just add a Lee on the end. And
What? How? Wait, what? I know they make it even like more cringe, as if, you wouldn't have thought that was possible, but
Truly. They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
Well, I laugh when you said there's like a hockey stick company. You have to wonder, is that one of those things of someone that had been in corporate and they're like, get me out of here. I'm going to start something new. I'm going to start a hockey company. And they're like, I'm going to name this. I'm going to live my passion. I'm going to name it after the haunting my dreams.
It's very possible. I'm trying to think if it's the name of the company or if like the company has a stick called the Synergy, because I do know that Synergy has something to do with hockey sticks. I'm getting so Canadian right now. I'm so sorry. As I apologize. Classic.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I was hoping the topic of the podcast would be Canadian versus U.S. employment laws, but nobody else voted for that, of course.
Oh, God. No thanks.
But it is, I remember some of the first times I started doing employment law for global companies and was supporting teams in Canada. And if you're in the U.S. and you think that California is like, ooh, the Wild West with lots of laws and things like that to figure out, Canada, between Canada overall and the different provinces. And like, I mean, it's wild. You can it's actually a great place at times to get synergized, because you could at times have like a severance agreement that's like you'll get 4 months of severance. Like in the US, people would be like, oh my God, that's so generous. In Canada, they'll be like, I don't think so. Like the judge or tribunal, whatever, will be like, you deserve, like they will sometimes literally like just look and they'll make an assessment. They'll be like, but you deserve 18 months. Canada really is a totally different working style from like the protections and all of that thing. So if you don't know this and you're listening, Canada is very, very protectionist for employees. A lot of support there.
It's what we do.
Mm-hmm. If you're doing business there, get you some counsel. Like get you some L&E counsel for sure. Ooh, gosh. Oh, Canada, our neighbors to the north. Love y'all. So if you are playing along at home, try and use Synergy and piss everybody off in your life today. Like just try to sneak it in there. I know Jamie's going to sneak it in today. Ashley, you already scored a point. So you're ahead of all of us there. Do you feel overwhelmed when it comes to makeup? Charlotte Tilbury has bottled 30 years of artistry into easy-to-choose, easy-to-use beauty products. You can't go wrong. They are flattering for everyone, everywhere. That's the reason why she is the queen of glow. Her rigorous standards ensure that every product is designed and formulated for performance like nothing else on the market. From red carpets to influencers' bathrooms, her legendary icons have gone viral for making everyone look and feel like the most beautiful, confident version of themselves. Charlotte Tilbury is performance you can trust. It's legendary for a reason. You can use code CTPodcast15 for 15% off on charlottetilbury.com. Plus, new account holders get free delivery. This ad is brought to you by Charlotte Tilbury USA customers only and valid until March 2nd, 2025. For full T&Cs and exclusions, see the Charlotte Tilbury website.
I've talked about how I'm trying to focus on my health, so I've been working out more. But as everyone knows, it's not just exercise that matters. It's also diet. So I've been doing things like meal planning, but I also like to find things to have between meals, like a snack. And I don't want to do something that I'll regret or something that'll undo all of the work I've done the rest of the day. So I thought, what about some of those bars? But did you know that most health food bars today contain as much sugar as a candy bar? Sad but true. So you may be thinking, should I just have a candy bar? No. Paleo Valley has changed the game with their mouth-watering superfood bars. They're crafted with organic superfoods, plus the Paleo Valley gut, joint, and skin-supportive grass-fed bone broth protein. All in all, it helps cultivate optimal health and sustained energy no matter where life takes you. They have 4 delicious year-round flavors. Most recently, I've had lemon meringue. I'm about to try a red velvet cake. And in the fall, I'll be having the seasonal pumpkin spice bars, so don't forget it. If you want to try them and have savings, head to paleovalley.com/HRBesties for 15% off your order. That's PALEO Valley.com/HRBesties for 15% off.
Shall we pivot to our hot topic? Keep this meeting moving here with our crasher. Well, today we are talking all things overlap between CX and EX. Ooh, sounds super sexy. But customer experience and employee experience, right? So what can we learn from customer service strategies, right? How does a culture of service impact employee satisfaction? Like everything under that umbrella, of customer service and customer experience and how it relates to or impacts employee experience and vice versa. We're going to turn that thing inside out. How are you an expert of customer experience, Max?
Well, I've worked in customer service for a very long time in multiple different fields, whether that's, call centers or retail. Retail was really where I kind of cut my teeth. Is that the term when you cut your teeth? Yeah. So I've been around the block and I've experienced it in many different fields and many different areas. And it's a lot of it's the same, but a lot of it's kind of different depending on what you're selling and who you're helping, who your clientele is, I find. Being in retail, it's everyone. You're going to get every walk of life that comes into your store because everyone wants to buy a pair of jeans, but not everybody needs hearing aids. I used to sell hearing aids over the phone, which is so weird to say out loud. That sounds like such a terrible business model. The company was called what?
How does that even work?
Well, so it was actually a pretty interesting way they set it up. People would fill out a very brief survey, and then we would be the ones to reach out to them. So we would kind of be calling these customers knowing having a pretty good idea of what it is they were looking for. But hearing aids, I don't know if you guys know about hearing aids, but they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
They're really fucking expensive. So a lot of the times, the reason that people would not move forward and then they would get upset is because these are so gosh darn expensive. The most basic pair, at minimum, prices have probably changed now, but when I was working there, the minimum was $2,500 per ear.
Are you talking about Canadian dollars? What's that exchange rate?
This was usually in American because I was working here in Toronto, but I would be dealing mostly with American customers. So the funny thing is, a lot of people, when it came to filling out the survey, they would fill it out on behalf of someone else.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people could fill it out for themselves, but I'd be dealing with a lot of older people who, aren't really familiar with computers and technology in general, which is totally fine. So they would have someone do it on their behalf. And then I would call that person, but they would be like, who are you? I'd be like, you filled out a survey for Grant, who needs a hearing aid. He goes, oh, he's like, yeah, that's my dad. I'm like, okay. Listen, here's what we can do for you. And I'll give him the whole spiel. We had a whole script. It was a 2.5-page script that I would have on my monitor that's off to the side here. I would just follow it. I'd be like, okay, so tell me about this. And with hearing, I would be looking back and forth, just trying to follow it as carefully as possible. And most of the time, 8 out of 10 people would cut me off halfway and say, okay, I just want to know how much these things cost.
Yeah.
Which is entirely understandable. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, when it comes down to it, I think you're looking at this amount of hearing loss, so we would recommend this price, which is looking at about $2,500 per ear. And most people would just hang up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'd worked in sales before law school, and I remember having scripts. And on one hand, it's really nice to have those because, in most situations in work and life, you just like someone to tell you what to say specifically in that situation. But also, you have such a good like rapport and things like that. When did you eventually, especially in your roles, feel like you found your voice and could like relate to people? Like you do come across as a very nice and genuine person, and I have to imagine that's very welcome, especially for someone that's like trying to get help for a family member. And so, how did you think to balance that about like sticking to the script and finding your own voice?
That's a really good question. I think I really honed in on my voice at that job. I think I found it working in retail, to be quite honest, because I was just having face-to-face interactions with people where I really had to be on it all the time because you never know who's coming in. But that's a really good question.
I'm going to sign out now. Guys, I'm going to leave the meeting.
Well, guys, it's been great. Thanks so much.
We're synergizing you out.
Mic drop.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I try to be as genuine as I can because I never, like, especially when I was doing customer service and with sales specifically, I never want to pretend to be someone else. I think that working in customer service in any form or sales, when you have to pretend to be someone else or try to like not be yourself, I feel like people can really see through that. So, and even when I'm not working, I'm all about just being as genuine as I possibly can, you know, because that's how you just connect with people. That's how people like feel better towards you because they just enjoy someone who is just there to have a good time and really be their best self. So I feel like that applies across the board to any job in customer service, just really being honest. You know, and if you're too honest, that could bite you in the ass sometimes. But, you know, I think just keeping it real and kind of showing them, hey, like, I'm human, you know, because I think a lot of people who call into customer service, you know, employees, I think they kind of forget that they're talking to a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that becomes a problem sometimes. So I've had to say to customers in the past, I'm like, sir, just so you know, like, I am real. You know, like I've had to say that and they'll go like, yeah, I know that. You're like,
do you? Yeah.
Do you? Because like, I don't fucking think you do.
Well, I think you made a really great point there, right? That one of the lessons that we can take from customer service, and it's focused on the customer experience, is that authenticity is important, right? And so we as business professionals, leaders in corporate, managers, you name it, for the employee experience, to maximize that and to make that a positive one, you have got to be authentic and real and genuine with your people, because that's respect. You know, it really, really is. I mean, if you don't have an answer, say, I don't have an answer for this. Or, you know, share that, gosh, times are scary. I agree. I'm scared too, right? I mean, all of that, right? That genuineness, that authenticity, that empathy, you know, that is so important to carry over into your workplace culture, right? And treat your employees that same way where you focus on customers in that manner.
I think something just to keep going with that is I think a lot of customer service employees, especially when they're starting out, I think they're afraid to say they don't know. And really, I feel like that applies for so many jobs. People want to come off as knowledgeable, which is totally fine and totally understandable. But I think people need to become more comfortable with saying, hey, I'm actually not sure. I don't know. And like, that's something that I've always been very aware of when I was starting with the hearing aid company. When people were like, oh, like, well, what about, they would ask me a question that I didn't have the answer to. It wasn't in the script. It wasn't anywhere that I could find a quick answer for them. And I knew deep down, I was like, it's okay to say, I don't know. And sometimes people will be like, okay, no worries. Well, like, do you know when I can, like, is there someone I can talk to? Do you know how I can find that out? Most people will understand. And if I've been at a company for a while and I still don't know how to answer their question, I'll just say, listen, it's actually my first day. So let me get you in touch with one of my coworkers who can actually help you with that.
I love that so much. And I agree fully. Like, as you were saying, I think I had the same thoughts that Lee did. I think I saw like the pop on Jamie's face, but a lot of this is about being human. And I think one thing that I hadn't thought about it as much from like the customer service, customer support aspect, but you are such a like nameless, faceless, like you are customer support. I know HR feels the same way because people are like, I'm going to reach out to HR. IT feels the same way. Finance, like frequently you are this like, you know, this person and people want you to be perfect and have the answer. But But then if you're able to relate and you use their name and talk to them more, be like, I don't know, let me figure that out. The ways that you can relate to people, it can open up and change the perspective of people that, and I do think that both of those are really common across those. So I love that is an example.
I love saying I don't know. In fact, I typically say, hell if I know. Like, I do not know. But then I always do the caveat of, but I will be relentless in getting you that answer.
I mean, I'm not going to be relentless. I'll be like moderate.
Yeah, I'll ask.
I will travel to the ends of the earth to make sure that we get to the bottom of this.
I would.
Another good tip for people who if they still don't feel comfortable saying, I don't know, another good way to say I don't know without saying I don't know is, I'm not 100% sure.
And I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, right?
Yeah, I don't want to give you the wrong information.
I care about you. And it's a lot of it is like putting people right at ease.
Exactly. I hate being bullshitted. And you can tell when you're being bullshitted, right? I mean, people making stuff up. Oh, gosh.
You can read right through it. Whether you've worked in customer service or not, when someone is just lying to you about a policy or anything like that, you can tell.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are scared of saying, I don't know, because they fear they may be terminated, fired, there be, repercussions or whatever. But there's more if you make up bullshit.
Yeah, especially with a lot of calls being recorded with, gong and stuff like that. Going back, you don't want to have to explain yourself a boss being like, why did you say you don't know? Do you not know this? And then you get grilled for something that maybe you should know. Mm-hmm. But, it's stuff like that.
That is so important because I think one thing is for organizations across the board, thinking about your values and how do those come to life? How do those come for customer support and service? But even that, if you're trying to get people to learn, it is an area so much. If you then come down on them every time they make a mistake, like they're not getting a raise, they're not getting promoted, they're getting totally dinged.
It's only going to make them more afraid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where, I think we really need to push and focus on empathy. Right. And understanding and putting ourselves in other people's shoes, right? So that we can be supportive of others so that they can develop, because again, when people feel unsafe, they're paralyzed. They're not going to get their best performance. That's for sure. Pretty shitty. It creates a real culture of shit. So if we do care about that employee experience and customer experience, we'd be wise to not be dicks.
Forget the culture shift. We're talking culture shit.
Exactly.
Drop the F.
I love that.
Stop doom scrolling and start dream scrolling. I just got back from a vacation, and that means that I envision my life there. But I don't just think about it. I pretend I'm going to live there and look up real homes on the Redfin app. As it turns out, I'm not going to be buying a beautiful ski-in, ski-out house in Colorado. But it's fun to play as a game. I'll challenge my friends. If you won $100 million in the lottery, what would you buy? And get out the Redfin app. But you can actually use it for a game or for your real searches when you're looking for your next place. I actually do call it dream scrolling, and you can call it home scrolling or whatever. But whether you're looking to buy or rent your next place, you need the Redfin app. Redfin makes it fun to search all the homes and apartments in your neighborhood. And if you find a place you love, Redfin makes it easy to go see it in person. Just schedule a tour right from the app. Plus, if you're looking to sell, Redfin agents know how to get you the best price possible because they close twice as many deals as other agents. And with a listing fee as low as 1%, Redfin's fees are half of what others often charge. So whether you're looking to buy, rent, or sell, download the Redfin app to get started. This is Ashley. In my business, Manager Method provides manager training to organizations. But did you know that when I first started, I was selling employment document templates to businesses? Now, like a lot of people, I worked in corporate for years and had these ideas in my head, but had no idea how to actually start a business until I found Shopify. So with Shopify, I was able to use it so I could have a website and people could go to it, see the template they wanted, buy it, and download it. Simple, right? Well, Shopify made it simple because, again, I had no idea what I was doing. But I remember the way I felt the first time somebody purchased one of those templates and I got a notification. Now, if you've had an idea in your head, I often tell people it can be a great place to start. Now, whether you're just starting out or you already have a business, upgrade your business.
and get the same checkout that I've used with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/HRBesties. It's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HRBesties to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/HRBesties.
What else, Farbsy? Max, what do you think? Any lessons for our audience on customer experience that can relate just across the board?
Just remember whenever you're talking to a customer service employee that is a real person you're talking to. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to get replaced by AI. I don't think so. AI can't call you a bitch, but really, I think it's so important that people remember that, at the end of the day, we're just like, people are just trying to help. And it's people having a conversation, and whether you're frustrated about a charge on your credit card, or whatever it is, it'll get fixed. There are bigger problems, it's not worth spending your time yelling at someone who literally is just trying to help. And another tip is, I've never done this, but a friend of mine was like, you should do this, is when someone's yelling at you, whether it's in person or over the phone, in just a very calm voice, just respond to them and say, are you okay? Because the tonal shift, especially when someone's yelling, just hopefully will make them realize that they're kind of being a bit much, And really, I just think it's important to, at the end of the day, remember that we're all human. Humans make mistakes, whether it's, at your job or just in life. Shit happens. That's really not a whole lot we can do about that. But you're talking to real people about problems that aren't as real as you think they are.
So remember that with your coworkers too.
Yeah.
It is so rare in my 20 years in HR, it is so rare that I've come across someone that intentionally was wanting to do a bad job. Right? Like I've had some people that were, what would we call them? Like traitors, you know what I mean? Or, someone like really trying to be subversive in the workplace. Like a saboteur. There you go. That's the word I was going for, Ashley. Ding, ding, ding. But that is so rare. I mean, I can count on one hand. Typically, people really are well-intentioned. They just don't have the information, the tools, whatever, So again, that understanding and kindness, that patience, support goes a long way. Remembering they're human. They don't know, just like you didn't know, one day.
And the nicer you are, the more inclined we'll be to help you.
Exactly.
Like if you're just a nice person, first off, we'll remember you. And second, we will genuinely want to help you.
And same goes for HR. And I always have said this in my 21 years is HR, we are essentially customer service for employees. And so that's where, same thing. If you approach me cussing because your paycheck is 10 cents short, like, you think I want to help you if you're cussing me out? You know what I mean? Like,
do people complain about that? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh, God.
It is a real fucking thing.
Yeah, I've been cussed out over a dime.
You know what I mean? Like, just approach with more like curiosity. That's what I usually do. Like, I always
I'm curious.
She plays dumb.
Yeah, no, I love to play dumb. Like,
why are you such a bitch? I'm so curious.
I would like to know.
That is my MO, is to play dumb. Like, even when I usually know, I play dumb because it works in my favor, because you're not automatically on the defense, right? But yeah, I mean, I think that's the line between, HR is there to provide support for the employees. And that really essentially is like a customer service feature for our employees, but it's the same line. And, all these businesses promote customers, they're always right, or the customer comes first, but they don't have the same respect for their employees. And, I've mentioned this before on the pod, but I worked for hospitality years and years ago at Marriott. And one of Bill Marriott's quote was, if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of the customers, and the customers will keep coming back. And it's just so true. I wish more people just realize the full cycle of their employees, and not even just customer service, right? Just like taking care of employees. And it really builds a culture that people want to be a part of.
It's so basic, but brilliant.
100%.
Right? I mean, it's so obvious. So why aren't we all doing that? Why aren't all businesses realizing that? How you treat employees, guess what? That's how they then treat your customer. Duh.
What? Oh my God.
Right. They'll look focused to like the revenue, or there's no even talk about treating customers, thinking about talking to call center. How do you train people on that? And then the employees, it really is. So people listening, and we'll have this in our newsletter. We always have a newsletter, Max. So we will, say all the nice things about you or not. We'll tell if you're reading it by what we say in the newsletter.
It's fine. I'll go fuck myself. It's fine.
But it's thinking about if you're focused on revenue, all fine and good. That doesn't happen by generally a magic wand. And so you think specifically about, and I agree, starting with employees and then filtering that to customers and prepping people for the conversations they may have, I do think works wonders.
Yeah. And if you're not using the term employee experience, like in your workplace, start. Like I would, language is powerful, right? I mean, you start using a term like that, and that encourages people to give a shit about what they're experiencing, and the environment they're creating and the vibes they're giving out to their coworkers. I mean, all the things, right? It all works in tandem, which then, guess what? Affects their performance and how they treat your customer. Oh, it is so basic. It's just like embarrassing that we suck at that, like in so many places, Oh.
Something I think would be great is having a customer service purge day. Where maybe like once a month or once a week, that might be pushing it. You just either get to, beat someone up that you don't like, with a customer that you don't like, or ideally, you just get to say whatever the hell you want to a customer. I feel like that would just be so great for employee morale. We would just be so much more relaxed. We would have that moment to say, oh, you know what? I can tell this guy to fuck off and not get in trouble.
Yes. I have so many people I'd want to tell to fuck off.
Yeah. May need like a special retreat. Not just a little meeting every month, but you need to go away for like a week and just let it all out,
Mm-hmm.
The shush shed. That's where the shush shed.
The shush shed, exactly. Oh, I love it. Gosh, we got some badass insights there. Anything else, y'all? Shall we go to questions and comments? Let's start with you, Farbsy. Any questions or comments?
I have a question for all of you. What do you think is the most important question to ask in a job interview? Regardless of the job, like what's something that is like a universal question that you should be asking in every job interview that will really stand out?
Like the employee should be asking to their...
That the employee should be asking, to the employer.
I always really like when people ask about culture. Like, obviously, I'm saying it from my point of view, but I really enjoy when I'm doing the interview to someone and someone asks me about the culture, maybe in the company or that particular department, because I feel like you can really get an idea of what the company's like. Because obviously not everyone's going to be super honest, but I feel like that answer, you can really break it down and go, oh yeah, I don't want to be a part of that company.
I get that.
I've got two, but I'll make them brief. Well, I can't choose which one. I love to ask, how are decisions made here?
That's a good one.
Because I can't be micromanaged. Oh, I'm hard to tame. Oh, and so that's going to give me a lot of insight, on, the amount of bureaucracy and bullshit that I may face. And then I also love to ask something about communication. So that's very important because communication is really culture. I won't explain, Google it. But so I'd like to know, hey, what are your communication processes? How do you communicate with employees? How often, frequency, all of that? That's really important to me because that would symbolize a company that gives a shit about informing employees and people understanding goals and purpose and mission and all the things, right, that come with comms. So probably those two, I always ask something along those lines.
I like to do something that also kind of can help you as a candidate, but to say I looked at your values and those actually really matter to me and knowing how those come to life. And so picking a value, whatever it is, because sometimes to say what does that actually look like for your team and working with others? And it shows you're doing your homework. And also you can say it in a way that's not kiss up. And so I think bringing that in real terms.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. What's wild is you ask a values question, you're like, oh, that's one of our values.
I know.
Yes,
right?
Literally.
When they don't even fucking know the values.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for me.
Well, Max, thank you so much for being here. This was fucking epic.
Thank you so much for having me. The synergy here has been fantastic.
Yes, the synergy.
Yeah, that's so good.
Lee, thank you so much for inviting Max. That was such an amazing idea. Kudos to you.
I mean, I don't know if he invited as much as he just walked down the hall and saw that we had good snacks, but
okay.
That's fine.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, this was so much fun.
We adore you. If you're not following Max, again, at Farbsy everywhere, we appreciate you. Bye, besties.